Hi everyone, nice to see you again. Welcome back to Pacific Front channel. Earlier this week, the biggest joint exercise in Indonesian military history kicked off. The Super Garuda Shield exercise, which will be held for 2 weeks, will show the Indonesian Armed Forces along with 13 partner nations training together on Indonesian soil. What is the Super Garuda Shield exercise? What can the Indonesian Armed Forces learn from it? And what's the geopolitical impact of this exercise? Let's discuss it in today's video. Before we talk about Super Garuda Shield, first we must know about its origin, the Garuda Shield. Garuda Shield is an annual joint exercise hosted by the Indonesian Army and sponsored by the US Army Pacific. From the US point of view, Garuda Shield is part of Operation Pathways, an annual operation held by the US Pacific Command, which aims to demonstrate the US commitment to Indonesia and its allies in the region, project a joint combat force, promote relations amongst military personnel of each country, and increase interoperability that is useful for maintaining stability in the region in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific. Last year, Garuda Shield 15 reached a milestone by having the most participants and the most complex training ever, with around 3,700 personnel involved from the US and the Indonesian Army, including 2 US Army divisions, the 25th Infantry Division, and the 82nd Airborne Division, and was held in 3 different locations in 2 different time zones simultaneously. So, why is this year's exercise called the Super Garuda Shield and not the Garuda Shield? That's because the scope of the exercise is even bigger than the previous edition. Not only has the number of personnel participating in the exercise increased, but the military branches and nations who participated have also increased. The Super Garuda Shield 2022 involved around 4,000 US and Indonesian troops from 4 military branches, 3 other active participants, Australia, Japan, and Singapore, and military observers from Canada, France, India, Malaysia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, South Korea, Timor-Leste, and the UK. This year's exercise is held in 2 places, in Batu Raja, South Sumatra, and in Dabo Singkep in Riau Islands. In general, the exercise features professional and cultural exchange that strengthen the US-Indonesia partnership through shared learning and training. It focuses on areas such as humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, as well as combating conventional, unconventional, and hybrid threats. Some of the training includes Command Post Exercise or CPX, Field Training Exercise or FTX, Combined Arm Live Fire Exercise, Aviation, Medical Exercise, Logistic and Protocols, Civil Military Coordination, Counter IED, Force Protection, Airborne, and Special Operation. From what I see, the Super Garuda Shield is a rare and priceless learning experience for the Indonesian Armed Forces and those who participated. The 4 active participating nations, the US, Australia, Japan, and Singapore, have their own view about national defense and tailored their military to fit this purpose. So by having them all join the exercise, train together and exchange expertise, will bring new perspective for the Indonesian Armed Forces to better defend our nation. In return, they can learn how to fight in a humid, tropical jungle environment like Indonesia. Strategically, this exercise allows Indonesian military leaders to better plan and execute large-scale, complex operations involving several armies and equipment. It should be noted that the Indonesian Armed Forces never hosted a joint military exercise in this scale before. Usually, they only hosted a bilateral joint exercise with partner nations or participated in others. Tactically, it will help the squad, platoon, and company-level units, also their officers and NCOs, to be more adaptable and can take initiatives in a mission. I don't know about other nations, but I do know that the NCOs in the US military plays an important role in every operation. They give their NCOs freedom to take initiatives and make decisions on the spot for the sake of mission success. And this has been proven in Ukraine, where Ukrainian forces taught by the US and NATO managed to destroy a slow, top-down command of Russian forces in important battles. In international relations, every country will play their cards for their personal interests, and Indonesia is no exception. With its free and active foreign policy, one of the important agendas for Indonesia is to show its strategic vision in the region. And from what I see, this exercise helps emphasize Indonesia's vision. We are free to trade with China, but we are also free to hold an exercise with the US. For years, we all see how aggressive China is in the South China Sea, and no Southeast Asian nations can contain it alone. By holding a multinational exercise with nations who are on the opposite side with China, indirectly we create a counterbalance against them in the region. And this strategy proved to work. Few months after the Garuda Shield 2021, it was reported that China sent a diplomatic note to Indonesia protesting the exercise, saying it was destabilizing the region. In other words, they feel threatened. So I bet they will send another protest this year. Looking at the recent geopolitical development, it's easy for us to associate the Super Garuda Shield exercise with Nancy Pelosi visit to Taiwan. Or some may suspect that the exercise is just another trick to contain China. First of all, Garuda Shield is held every year for more than a decade, and no one complained about it until last year. So it's strange to see there is a narration that says it's a trick to contain China. And the director of this year's exercise, Major General Stephen G. Smith, also said that the joint exercise was not meant as a threat to any particular country. Above all, its main goal is to build friendship and trust between the US, Indonesia, and other participating nations. Second, the date of the exercise is also fixed. It's always the first 2 weeks of August. So it's just a coincidence that one of the most senior members in US politics plans to go to Asia in the same month. In summary, the annual joint exercise between the US and Indonesia is getting bigger this year. From just a bilateral training event between the US and Indonesian Army, this year's exercise is now one of the biggest multinational exercises in the Indo-Pacific. Named Super Garuda Shield, the exercise involved 4 military branches from the US and Indonesia, 3 more active participating nations, and observers from 9 nations. During 2 weeks of exercise, participating nations will conduct conventional, unconventional, and hybrid warfare exercises in Batu Raja Combat Training Center in South Sumatra and Dabo Singkep in Riau Islands. This exercise gives a rare and priceless learning experience, especially for the Indonesian Armed Forces, from the tactical level up to strategic level. It can help our military leaders practice their ability to plan, command, and communicate with different armies in a simulated operational environment, and also help train our lower echelons to learn new tactics to conduct their missions. Geopolitically, this exercise helps emphasize Indonesia's free and active foreign policy. By holding an exercise with nations who are on the opposite side with China, indirectly, we create a counterbalance against them in the region. It has been proven last year, and I'm sure it will work again this time. I hope the exercise will expand even more in the future, and can become one of the most important joint military exercises in the Indo-Pacific region. That's it for today, the Super Garuda Shield exercise. What do you think about this exercise? Who else do you think should we invite in the future? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching everyone, and I will see you next time.